All right, so let's dive into the game a little bit. Do we want to start with offense or defense, guys? Your call.
Let's start with defense.
Defense, I love it. Okay, so the defense kept Iowa to only 226 total yards. 116 of those was on the ground. 110 of those were through the air. The defense actually managed to get home and get to the quarterback on 4 different occasions. We had 4 sacks yesterday, had an interception. So, and whoops. I apologize, guys. I'm having a little computer issue with my second computer here.
I can jump in.
Nope, I got you. Okay. I'm good now. I'm recovered, Eric. So we actually kept Iowa
That's
to
debatable.
Thank you.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
I see where this is going today. Pick on the guy who's had no sleep for 3 days. All right, I like it. No, Ohio State kept Iowa to 5 of 12 on third down. They did not attempt a fourth down at all. They only averaged 5.2 yards per pass. Iowa only averaged 4.3 yards per rush, committed 3 turnovers. So, Eric, what's your assessment of the Ohio State defense?
Yeah, I gave the defense an A. I mean, I don't know how else to grade that, man. Not an A plus because they did give up a score. Thanks, second teamers.
Don't get me started. I freaked out on that one.
Yeah, I know your betting self was. Yeah, when you had the wrong line, you freaked out on me. But no, the defense played really good. I liked their aggressiveness. They were all over McNamara. I mean, let's face it, he got benched. I don't know how
he didn't get
say
injured. He didn't get injured.
No, he got benched because they were just and they were in his head, dude. They were absolutely in his head. Kiana Jackson's father's in the chat. He just entered the chat. His boy got a fumble recovery yesterday. Sent him a congratulatory message on Twitter. The defense was awesome. The defensive line looked great. The linebackers looked in sync. I'm just gonna say this. I'm starting to wonder if maybe we shouldn't play more 4-3 because the defense just looked different yesterday. Now, again, obviously, when a team spreads us out, what do you do? But Sonny Styles, awesome. Congratulations to Iggy on his first collegiate interception yesterday. I had no idea he had never had an interception before yesterday. But that was nice. And Jack Sawyer looked like a beast. So give me an A.
Cory, your grade.
I go A as well. Yeah, it was frustrating to get that touchdown at the end there, and that's actually when you talked about the total yards, I like to see what the yards were before that drive because it makes the defense look even better because they were stifling that whole thing. Did they bench McNamara or they just kind of waved the white flags? Kind of how I looked at it. They were just like
Caleb Johnson was still in.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, good point. But Cade, to his credit, early in the game, even when he was getting hit, he made a couple throws that were first downs and things like that. He was actually frustrating me a little bit, but he obviously didn't do nearly enough to keep him in the game, and the defense was stifling and just kept hitting him. I definitely love the blitz packages. I definitely think they played a little bit more of a hybrid 4-3 because they knew that we got to take Caleb out of the game. That's it. Let Cade try to beat us, but they did everything they could to take Caleb out of the game, and they did. They succeeded in that 100%. It's Sonny Styles. As much as I've been down on you, man, oh my gosh, you woke up on that game. What a great game. He was all over the field, 2 tackles for loss. He was in the backfield several times. He gang tackled several times. Great game. Defensive line getting home. Even I think they were there was times in the game where they weren't even blitzing. They were just getting home on the 4. So I was a little new wrinkle seeing the safety come from like freaking end zone blitz. It was that safety blitz coming from way back. I haven't seen that too much. Maybe I'm missing it. But Caleb Downs laid some monster hits as well. I love seeing the aggressiveness from our guys. Our guys are more physical, I think, than they've been in years past. The defense, absolute A. I guess you can take away the score second teamers, then woke up and stifled them after that. But you hated to see the shutout go away.
Yeah, I also give them an A. I look at everything they did and how they were able to stop. I mean, we're crazy Buckeye fans, so we remember, Cade McNamara had like 3 throws that you're like, what's going on?
It's true.
Guys, it's 3 throws, like let's chill out for a second. But they still, I mean, they stopped them. There was no way they were scoring on the starters there. And I don't know what happened with the backups. I said on the post-game show I was on for the Voice of College Football that my kids were taking a bath at that time. And so I actually left because my wife needed me to watch the kids in the bath for a second. So the entire time I left, they were scoring. So I came back downstairs. I said, what in the world happened? So I was like, all right, well, apparently I need to watch the entire game. That's what happens when I stop watching the game. So, but I do really like the wrinkle of the 4-3. I didn't really like it last game. I felt like it was kind of forced, but I think Sonny Styles is getting better at it, and the addition of Arvell Reese has been huge. I think they wanted CJ Hicks to be the third linebacker in that originally, but he's just unfortunately not had that, season to be able to do that. But the emergence of Arvell Reese has been really, really good. And I think that the kind of hybrid of Sonny Styles playing, coverage, but also being a linebacker, I think that's exactly what you want, especially because I think they are specifically putting this package in for that team up north at the end of the year. They know how much they are running the ball, and they know how much they need to stop that run. And, I mean, they watch the same games we do. They know, even if Jack Tuttle is out there, they are not going to beat you throwing the ball this season. They're going to beat you with big, long runs, and so you got to have extra linebackers in there to make sure that doesn't happen. Caleb Downs is fantastic. Lathan Ransom's fantastic, but you can't be relying on your safeties to make tackles, after 4, 5, 6 yards. You have to get to them sooner than that. So I think for me, the key to this run defense is Sonny Styles. Cody Simon is solid. Arvell Reese is solid. But if you're going to stop teams like Iowa, like that team up north, from running the ball, you're going to have to put 3 linebackers in there, and Sonny Styles is going to have to execute just like he did this last game. Great game by him.
Yeah, I can't say enough. I went with an A as well, guys. I thought it was a great performance. A little frustrated by that second team giving up a touchdown, but you know what? All in all, I mean, I think everything is starting to click with these guys. This is the type of defense we expected to see from these guys. It was very stifling. And again, Iowa, we all know, is not an offensive juggernaut. Nothing like what we're going to see next week. But I love the fact that I believe we can run multiple defenses out there, to fit the program we're playing. I think that's a huge, huge thing.
Chris, that offensive line we faced in Iowa
It was
yesterday
very good.
is much better than the one they have in Ann Arbor.
And we got 4 sacks against that line.
I think having Tyleik Williams back too was huge, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
He came in right off the bat and blew up one of the run plays, second or third play of the game.
Mm.
He got in there and blew that up. So, yeah, having him back.
Please stay healthy, Tyleik.
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's flip it over to the offensive side of the ball. Offensively, Ohio State has 412 yards. They end up with 21 of 25 passing, 209 yards. We had 40 rushing attempts for 203 yards, averaged 8.4 per pass, averaged 5.1 per rush. And guys, something I truly love to see. How about it took till the third quarter to get it, but 1 penalty for 10 yards on this team yesterday. That is sound, fundamental football.
Yeah, hats off to this reffing. This crew yesterday actually let them play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, each team only had 1 penalty.
And Iowa's the least penalized team in the Big Ten. I understand that, and Ohio State's in the upper echelon of that. But they let them play, and even the whole oh my gosh on Iggy's interception, he threw him to the side. The ball was tipped.
Yeah.
So they couldn't throw the flag. I was kind of surprised they didn't throw a flag and then pick it up, right? Like I've been seeing a lot. So hats off to that crew. I think that whatever crew that was there, that's the best one in the Big Ten, because all the other Big Ten games I saw, the crew stunk.
And I think another thing that just jumps out at me about this, Eric, before we get started with everybody else here real quick, how about for the second game in a row, we dominated time of possession.
Yeah.
34 minutes, 46 seconds to only 25 minutes for Iowa. Not something we as Ohio State fans are used to seeing. Thank you, Chip Kelly, for installing this run game
Well,
because it has made a big difference.
and that's us taking what the defense is giving us,
Yes.
letting it meandering down the field, being successful on third downs. That's what that means.
So Corey, let's get your take on the offensive performance yesterday.
I give it an A. Howard's interception frustrated me, admittedly, but again, whatever. He's still wildly efficient. He runs the offense to a T. He makes good decisions. He's good for what we need on the offense. I love the fact that we're an offense that can be either big play or we can meticulously go down the field. We don't have to be one or the other. Um, that's so key because obviously the Iowa likes to set the safeties back quite a bit, and so we can't go over the top. But when you keep knifing them, all of a sudden Jeremiah Smith sneaks back behind the safety, and then all of a sudden you can go deep. So it's nice to set it up that way and set teams up that way. Run game again wasn't flashy. Didn't see like a bunch of huge runs, but it was efficient. It kept getting first downs. It kept moving the chains. Offensive line. I give this to Josh Fryer. I knock Josh Fryer all the time. Probably had his best game as a Buckeye. I saw him clocking people out there, moving people out there. Had a great game. I was actually very impressed with him. Offensive line as a whole. Donovan Jackson had a couple iffy blocks, but as a whole, Seth McLaughlin's been a godsend as a transfer. Jonathan Simmons has turned into an all Big Ten left tackle. The offensive line's playing better than it has since 2019. I just love watching them play. The last few years, I haven't loved watching them play. Now I'll watch them play and focus on what they're doing. Thought the tight ends played pretty well overall in their blocking scheme. Plus, they got a couple catches there. I agree with what Eric says. I'd like to get him more involved in the pass game eventually, but who knows when it's going to happen if it does happen. But overall, a couple mistakes, but I mean, how can he be upset? In the second half, they woke up, stopped making mistakes, and just scored at will, basically. And they took advantage of what the defense gave them.
Yeah. JR?
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna be the Debbie Downer of the group. I think with the offense, I'm actually gonna go B plus. There were aspects of the offense I wasn't super happy with in the second half, or not the second half, in the second quarter. Their second half was fantastic. I shouldn't say anything bad about what happened in the second half at all. I was very perplexed why Chip Kelly got so pass happy there in the second quarter. I felt like we were running the ball on him really well. I just counted it up going through the play-by-play. We only ran the ball 3 times in that entire second quarter, and one of those was a 20-plus yard run by Quinshon Judkins. So it wasn't like they, were stopping them every single time. And then, after that interception happened, we come out in the third quarter, we start running the ball more. It's just kind of like, I like Will Howard a lot. Don't get me wrong. I think Will Howard is a great quarterback to have for this offense, but I don't know if you want your offense operating on him throwing the ball over 10 times and you only running the ball 3 times in one quarter. So, I mean, Chip Kelly is much smarter than me, so I'm sure he had a reason for it or whatever. But I did like that they went back to JJ after the fumble. What was it? 2 plays later, they went back to him, and Ryan Day talked about that in his press conference of just like keep giving JJ the confidence. Don't let him get too down on himself or anything. Because he was, I think he said in the press conference, he was like, just give him the ball. He's going to make something happen. So that's how much they trust him. And even against a very good defense in Iowa, I don't think they're as good as they have been in the past. I think this, for whatever reason, they're struggling a little bit this year, especially in coverage. But, they're still a very good defense, and you got to be happy scoring 35 on one of the better defenses in the nation, if not one of the best defenses in the nation.
Eric, your letter grade.
I'll split the difference with you guys and go A minus, and that's what I had before you guys gave your grades. So I think we're all right there, just a few decimal points from each other. There was some questionable play calls, but who am I to question the genius of Chip Kelly having the quarterback keep it on 4th down? Maybe on an RPO, but not on a designed run like that. I didn't like that one.
I did love that Will Howard felt confident enough to throw it to Brandon Innes on that 4th down.
Yes.
Over the middle. That was awesome.
And I actually felt like on that 4th down run, if he'd have just charged forward, he had got it. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. Throw it away. He needs to learn to throw it away too a little bit. But yeah, I'm with you, Cory. I was a little frustrated with some of what was going on there in the second quarter, but I'll say this too. Big bad props to Caden Curry for starting a fight. Uh,
Yeah.
because it fired the team up, man. And they came out of halftime just ready to hammer down. And so, to steal a cliche from DK, Dylan Kuhn in his love affair with Purdue.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, offensively, if they can put 4 quarters together, and this defense can put 4 quarters together, if we play our A game, both sides of the ball, for an entire game, I don't think there's anybody in college football that can beat us.
Yeah.
After what I've seen, Alabama's defense, questionable. Georgia's
Questionable?
defense,
That's been
questionable. Tennessee offense, questionable. The entire team in Ann Arbor, questionable, including the coaching staff. I just this thing is up for grabs, and we have the roster to do this thing. So let's get excited. This weekend's going to be huge. So I want to see it put it all together. But I went with A minus, Chris.
Yeah, I went with A- as well. You guys mentioned most of it, but the big thing for me is, and I think you said something about Will Howard just has to learn to throw the ball away. Will had 2 plays that really bothered me. One, the interception, the other, fumbling the ball. You know, fortunately for us, he hasn't done these things in big games.
Yeah.
So to this point, I'm just going to write that off as growing pains, but I have to ding him a little bit for it, so I went A- as well.
One more thing. For the first time this year, Jeremiah Smith looked like a freshman on 2 occasions. The fumble, which could happen to anybody, but then celebrating like you got the first down, not knowing where the sticks were. That was a total freshman thing to do. He made up for it, and he's still one of the best wide receivers in all of college football.
Not one of the best. He is the best wide receiver in college football right now.
All right, it was settled last week, right?
That's right, settled.